Welcome to Marketing with Confidence. I'm your host, Marianne Amies. We're going to be talking all things digital and online marketing for business owners and marketing professionals. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your digital marketing, be sure to listen along and you'll hear tips, interviews and more that will give you the confidence to create marketing you love. Welcome to another interview with a business owner sharing their journey on their digital confidence. Today, I'm going to be joined by Claudia Domancie. Claudia runs a Pilates studio called Body Design Pilates that she's had for over 7 years, focusing on movement and energy for well-being. She's also the founder of the Empowered Instructor, a program that helps newly qualified fitness instructors to build their confidence, to grow their business, and up-level their teaching. Hi, Claudia. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Hi, Marianne. It's so great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. I'm really excited to talk to you today and hear about your journey as a business owner and navigating digital marketing. As you know, a lot of my listeners are business owners that grapple with digital, and I'm really enjoying sharing the points of view of different business owners and how, you know, in their own business journey, they've come to, I guess, find their feet and make digital work for them in their own unique ways. So did you want to start off by telling us about your business?
So I live in Melbourne. And I actually teach from home. I run a home-based studio. I've got a Pilates studio. I opened it about 7 years ago. Yeah. And I've started an online program for trainers. So I've been teaching for over 20 years. And I'm just finding that my business is evolving and I'm changing. Well, I'm adding to my offering, and it's really been fun watching how my business is evolving and growing. So I teach face-to-face, I teach online, and now I've got the program for trainers.
Beautiful. Very exciting. So I guess if you think back to 7 years ago when you started your business, how did you feel about the digital marketing side of things when you started out?
Well, that was back in 2015.
Wow.
So that was when Facebook was that was amazing. It was like such a good tool.
I know. Yeah. If you could bring back 2014, 2015 Facebook, yes. Honestly, we would all be just thriving again. The amount, I mean, I always laugh about what people, like what even, myself, like what we used to share on Facebook, how we used to behave on Facebook, you would comment, you would write whole essays to your friend in a comment on a whole different post. And now you tag your friend's name.
Yeah.
A single word.
It's so true. It's so true. And like I started posting back then and it's interesting how it's been that long. But that was when posts reached everybody.
Infinite. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't need to do any adverts. I just had a whole bunch of people contacting me thanks to Facebook, and I don't think Instagram was around then.
Not engaged with, that's for sure, I've told the story before of how I resisted Instagram. Like my niece, it might have been about 2015 or 2016, was like, then this is Instagram. I was like, no, not interested. Sorry, got Facebook. Don't need it. No, my clients are on Facebook. Don't need Instagram, and then sort of 2 years after that, it was like, oh, shit, now we have to have a whole other platform.
Oh, my word. Yeah. So it was interesting to start with social media. I didn't necessarily do any ads, but I think when I started with ads, it was probably around 2018.
Yeah.
And I got like zero responses. But I guess we'll get into it a little deeper in a little while, but I kept changing
Yes.
the ad, and I thought, oh, well, this this kind of client base isn't working, what their interests are, so it must be another one.
Yes.
And then I kept changing things, thinking, oh, well, it will reach someone, which now, after your education, was obviously the right thing to do.
But I mean, even just ads then so different to ads now. I think that whole Facebook stratosphere, meta, whatever you want to call it, it was just such an untapped diamond for so long, like both organic and ads. The big end of town, big business took so long to adapt and to use it. So it meant that small business, could use organic amazingly, and even ads could access it so affordably, even though there were the technical side of it, it was still just so different to now, and the technical complexity now has just become higher and higher. What you could do in an ad, in 2018 versus today. Today's so much more sophisticated, but again, it has, I guess, for small business, made it so much harder to self-manage that as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I remember it being about $10 a week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember running likes campaigns at the start, and you'd be getting 10-cent likes.
Yeah.
And now it's like $1 or $2, or you just don't even run them because they're so ineffective and not great from a cost perspective. But and then I remember when video first came out, video ads were like 0.002 of a, cent per view. They were just so cheap.
Yeah.
And it just got higher and higher because I think, the big businesses came in with big budgets, and all of a sudden, the competition to access people was a lot bigger. And so I guess, what's been your biggest challenge when you look back in your digital marketing experience over the last, 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah, I guess my biggest challenge would be knowledge of how it works, which target markets to go to, and also the range. You get the kilometer range that you can choose. Now, we live close to the bay, and so when you click on the diameter, half of it's in
the water.
And I'm not paying for the water. So it's the knowledge of how does that work? How much am I going to spend? And how long do I need to run an ad for? Because usually when you want to advertise for something, it's not that long in advance. But with the social media advertising now, I realize it takes a few months to actually get somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's just the biggest challenge is reaching the right people and the knowledge of what to post and how to reach them. So
And I think the hard thing with that is it's also ever evolving,
Yes.
Somebody asked me once what was the best book I could recommend on digital marketing. They were like, if I was going to read one book, and I was like, you can't read a book because the second the book's published, it would be out of date.
Wow.
There is no book that you can buy, read, and feel upskilled in, Instagram, Facebook, ads, emails, because it's always changing. It's all, we've had this newsletter for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years, where every second week we send out our newsletter, and it has 2 changes in digital marketing. There has never been a fortnight where we don't have things to choose from. Where we've had to say there's no changes this time in digital marketing. Just be as you were. There is always something changing. Every week there's a new.
How do you stay on top of it? Do you get a message from the people up in the sky?
I just written Mark Z, and I'm like, Mark, tell me what's happening.
Yeah.
I just have him, just have him on speed dial. No, and that's the thing, even for myself, being in it for 12 years and have an agency, I don't always know. People tell me things and it's news to me. Someone will say, oh, this, do you know on Instagram you can do this now? I go, no. Let me have a look. And we obviously, we follow resources like Social Media Examiner is a great resource that talks about latest news, latest changes, changing trends. Some of the scheduling platforms, there's one called Later. It has an amazing blog. So I follow that. So it's kind of cherry picking.
Okay.
Yeah, what you listen to, what you tune into. And then unfortunately it's been in there as well, and you would know this yourself. You sort of log into Instagram, it's all different. And then all of a sudden you learn you can do something you didn't know you could do before.
Yeah, there's something with what was it on Instagram that you can now add there's the interests or
yes, for reels.
Something in the reels.
Yeah, for reels. Which is funny because I think I posted like a reel for myself and didn't notice it. And then I was posting a reel for someone else and was like, oh, what's this? Oh, there's categories. And
that's it. Yes.
Yeah. And so a lot of the learning is on the job, right? Like you're an apprentice, like you're a tradie and you're like on the job. And often, again, like I'll open up, say, Facebook Ads Manager, say I'm in a meeting with a client like yourself, and I go to tell you something, but the whole interface has changed and then I can't find where anything is anymore. And, I think clients and they think that that's unique to them, but it's the same for us. You open it up and you're like, oh, all the tabs have changed and the menu's not on the left side anymore. And what am I to do now?
Yeah.
I had a client over the other day and we were trying to fix a connection between Facebook and Instagram. Hers had broken and logically the steps should have solved it. But we kept getting these silly errors. And I said to her, now I know you think I have the magic formula. I said, all I have is patience. Like it's literally patience that gets me through because I'm like, all right, let's close it. Let's try it this way. Let's log out of it. Let's restart it. And it was this series of just like pie in the sky solutions. And then it worked. And I was like, oh, it worked. It's like, I couldn't write out the steps of that. I couldn't email you, this is what you should do, because it's literally patience and problem solving.
Yeah.
To fix things. And so I think that I have a lot of clients that get so frustrated with the tech, it doesn't work. And it's kind of like, oh, I hear you. It's not you. It's actually literally it. And it's a battle of the wits. It's like, can you survive it? Or are you going to throw your phone against the wall before?
Yeah, because I think it's me. I'm like, it must be me. I'm attracting all the stuff that doesn't work. And and I was talking to someone else that owns his own gym, and he's now started doing social media. Well, he started a while ago with social media advertising, and he's working with a different company.
Yeah.
And he was like, but we were comparing notes and he was like, but how's yours going? How's your experience? So I said, oh, it's going really well. They update me and I'm in really good hands and I know that it's going to the right people. And he was like, yeah, but like mine just keeps saying it's going well, but they don't show me any evidence.
Yeah.
And they're not giving me any insights. And like there were specific things that you helped me with that would help people that go visit the website or people that look in the ad to then know it steers them in a way that it resonates with them differently. And like that's where I guess you guys go a bit further and creating that trust. And he was like, oh, they're just creating something, but they're not doing anything for him and they're just costing him money.
Totally.
There's so many having that kind of experience where they just really, well, I'm still sort of in the dark. I know I'm in good hands, thank goodness. But I know, like I see my ad, I see the results, but with him, he's totally in the dark as to where it's going, how it's going.
Oh, totally. And I think that's that's the hard thing with digital marketing as well, is that everything is interrelated. You can't run successful ads without looking at the website or looking at the destination of the ads.
Yeah.
And making sure that's right. Now, if I created ads for you and then put the link to a blank page, well, then nothing's going to work. And I think it's that integration, and like, obviously you're running ads to a landing page, people are taking an action, then there's an email going to them. There's a whole funnel there, or there's interconnected activities, so it's critical that all the activities support each other. We often say with like Google ads, if someone clicks the Google ad, goes to your site and leaves immediately, we need to analyze what they expected versus what they received. If you Googled plumber, plumber Darling Harbour, and then you clicked the first result that seemed to say plumbing Darling Harbour, and then it was plumbing Queensland, you're going to close immediately because it's not what you needed. So, I think to have effective digital marketing, you have to look at the relationship, of the where you're engaging the customer, and then through the whole journey, because otherwise you're not going to get a result. And I think that for me, I genuinely care, for better or for worse, I genuinely care. So I'm not going to, if I'm not doing the client's website, I'm still going to say it could be better, this could be better. Or, I have clients where someone else might manage their ads, and I'm like, show me the report. Like, if it's good, I'll tell you, just stay with them. It's great. Like, I'm not I'm not about trying to cut someone's grass. I just want to help you. Like, send me the report. And if it's good, I'll tell you and stick with them. And if it's bad, I'll tell you what to ask them to make them uncomfortable,
Exactly. That's another thing. Like, you never know. Like, I never knew what to ask or how to begin with someone. And it's about being led into this journey of the unknown and really just highlighting the things that need the work. So yes, there were some things in my website that I never even thought about changing. And it's it's so interesting how we don't look at the interconnected aspects of it. We just want to reach the people. Yeah. And then what?
Well, it's funny. It's kind of what you, I've heard you speak about, that someone comes to you with a sore back, they think it's because they bend over all the time. But then the work that you do is about the energy and is about, trapped experience, and as well as, supporting muscles and rehabilitation. And, if you just came and went, oh, okay, your back twinges because you bend a lot, do this one exercise. Yeah. You wouldn't really solve it, would you? No. You do the one bit, but you're not looking at the big picture.
That is so true. And that is exactly, that resonates with me because it is all interconnected and that's exactly how the body works. Yeah. And yes, exactly that. You're a personal trainer or an instructor to the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook is my very unfit, unwell client. Trauma. Well, it gives people a lot of trapped trauma. So what's been your biggest learning over, your journey as a business owner with digital marketing?
It's that it takes time. Yeah. That we shouldn't change anything too much. Yeah. And that you can target a new audience, but you can retarget the audience that already clicked on things. Yeah. So that's been a really good learning, and just the whole integrated thing of really looking at all aspects instead of having a leaky bucket.
Yeah. Oh, I love the leaky bucket analogy. One of my favorites. And it was a Pilates instructor who said it to me almost a decade ago, that I remember her exact words. She said, business is good. I've got enough clients, but I have to keep the bucket topped up because someone's always leaking out the bottom. And I use it all the time. I tell people that all the time. And it's so true. It's true in every single business. My own business, there's always somebody leaking out the bottom. And if you're not actively just, ladling that little bit back on top, you will end up with an empty bucket, without even realizing. Which is so, I think it's that thing when people are busy and times are good, they back off their marketing, oh, I'm busy, I can't, like our books are full, we're booked out, but it's, there is always someone dripping out. So, there's always, you need to have a little pool of people that are waiting to work with you, or your bucket's going to run dry.
Totally. Yes. And just keeping it fresh.
Yeah.
But at the right timing.
Yes, I know. And then I think also, reaching a place in your business journey, and especially in more like professional services, health and fitness, where you can kind of start to choose as well. If you have a client that just isn't feeling satisfied or isn't aligned anymore to what you offer or how you do it, having the confidence to let them go, because there's other more aligned clients waiting to work with you, where you can, sort of with love, let them go, them go and be with someone that they align better with, and, welcome someone that you're going to work better with and who's going to get more out of working with you. And I think that's such a beautiful place to get to in business as well. I think at the start, you're hungry for anything you can get, you'll budge on price, you'll budge on boundaries, you'll,
everything.
You're like, okay, yes, just please work with it, you say yes to all the wrong people. And then I think it's nice to get to a place in business where you can sort of go, no, that's not a good fit for me, or I think we've outgrown you, or you've outgrown us, or where might you be better suited. Which is nice as well.
I wonder how many of those you've had.
No comment. We have had challenging clients, but everybody does. I feel like at the moment we're in a really good spot, where I really just feel like we're working with really good clients.
Yeah.
And, I've had periods where I don't want to open my email in the morning because I know I'm going to feel upset. And maybe it's taking things too personal. I put my heart and soul into it. So when people can't see it and become really negative, it hurts me because I know how much I put in. And it's nice, I would say, for the majority of this year to not have felt like, oh, I don't want to open my email and see what's there. I've been able to reframe it and be like, oh, I wonder what's in my inbox today, as opposed to like, I don't want to start the day. I don't want to be eating breakfast and already feel anxious and like I've got to fight fires.
Yeah.
At 7 a.m. in the morning.
And, I guess that happens in a lot of industries where.
Oh, totally.
Like sometimes I would have a lot of cancellations.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Do I have a business?
What did I do? What did I do wrong?
What is it? But it wasn't me. It's just everyone else has something else going on. And I guess in your field, so many people are stressed and they're just desperate to make things work. And they don't realize that it is an avenue of testing things. And it's trying to constantly shift and change according to whatever's needed. Instead of forcing things.
And I think, like you, I've invested in myself more, in the later parts or the more recent parts of my career. And I think working on my mindset and making myself more solid has helped me to navigate those times now, not take things personally, recognize that it's someone else's. And now I spend a lot more time explaining it to my staff. It's not you, it's not the work you're doing. This person feels really, they're really lacking confidence in what they're trying to do, and so they're wanting it to be perfect to protect themselves. So it's not what you're doing, it's their unrealistic standard that they want met because of how they're feeling, where their mindset is at. And, you know, we certainly get people that are just in that paralyzed by perfection place. And now I'm better equipped to have conversations with them as well and sort of say, you know, progress over perfection. And, you know, and sort of what you and I get counseling, you know, what's the worst that can happen if we put this out?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, really go into those negative consequences and help people to kind of find their path back, because, you know, digital marketing is important, and, you know, marketing will always be a huge part of every business, but it's not brain surgery. No one's going to die. No one's going to die if your ad goes out with one word wrong. It's not great, but, you know, no, like I love to just have the perspective, you know, if you launch your website and your picture review wasn't the most perfect picture you wanted it to be, you're still going to get clients. People still sign up to pretty awful websites when they want to, you know.
Totally. Yes, it's about the message and if it resonates with people. And sometimes, like before we started working together, I heard that the videos that are the least edited and have poor lighting, those were doing really well because they seemed like they were just real. And people just trusted that a little bit more.
But really overproduced things to some ideal clients is a disconnect, feels out of alignment. If you seem really perfect, then I need to be really perfect to work with you.
Yes.
If she's so perfect, she's going to be really expensive. I won't be able to afford her. Or, you know, there's different clients with different mindsets as well, and you know, aligning to who your client is. I mean, this podcast, for example, I don't edit it to an inch of its life. I say all the time. I pause, I think, but I want it to be real. I don't want it to be, you know, a news segment. I want someone to feel what I'm really like, you know, which is really down to earth and imperfect, and I'm okay with that. So
it's very kind and funny and very clever.
Oh, stop it. How do you feel about digital marketing now? Have you learned to love it? Have you learned to put up with it? How do you feel when you think about the digital part of your business that you need to manage?
I cannot do it alone. That's just, I feel I don't know enough. And I like, it's a whole different ball game, and it's not something I want to do alone. I've got too much on my plate. So it's this has gone into something that, like, you guys do it for a living. So it brings me frustration if I'm doing it on my own, because, as you say, it always changes and I can't keep on top of the trends. So I feel empowered in the way that I understand there's other things to it. And I guess I could do it alone, but I don't want to.
Agree. I would say on that, you do an amazing job of your organic digital. Like what you do with Reels, you're miles ahead of me in Reels. Yeah, you are, like, in the most positive way. You know, as I say, I don't I'm not someone that compares and things like that. I just look at yours. I'm like, oh God, Claudia's got another reel out. Like you have reels all the time. I think I manage one a week, if that. You know, so I think, you know, from my perspective, I think it's great to look at the parts and say, you know, this is better in the hands of someone else, but you're embracing the parts that are, you know, so authentic to you and where your own voice and where your own presence is going to connect so much more with your ideal client as well. And, you know, your account and the advice you give, the movement you demonstrate, it's so engaging, and I think you've done a marvelous job with that.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. But it's funny, I look at yours and I'm like, wow, that message is just so spot on.
But I need to do it to some sort of beautiful movement,
No, I just don't have the flair of making a normal post. Like, I overthink the font and the size of things. So I'm just like, I'll just exercise, record it, and make it work with something.
Well, I guess we're both we're leaning into our strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't say the design part's my strength, but I do love to write. Like, I'm always really happy to write a piece, but I can't imagine videos of myself all the time. I mean, also, what would I do? Just type on a keyboard. It's not as exciting.
You can join me for a workout.
Yeah, I would love to. I'll fly down. That would be wonderful. So, look, to wrap up, what is your one piece of advice for business owners that are trying to increase their confidence with their digital marketing?
Well, I would say, firstly, the word that stuck with me was patience, that you said. It takes patience. And having someone that you feel can lead you.
Yeah.
Looking at all the necessary details, the whole integration.
Yeah.
So not just looking at the specific font or the message, look at everything.
Yeah. 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 Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Experiences. And I, encourage everybody to go and visit your Instagram account and check out your program and to check out your beautiful reels. Because they're really lovely. They're really lovely to watch and just be inspired by. So, yeah.
Thanks, Marianne. It's been so good to talk to you.
Likewise. Hey, thanks for listening to another episode. If you don't want to miss one, make sure you subscribe to the show in your podcast app. And if you love it, be sure to share it with friends and colleagues who you think could benefit from increasing their digital marketing confidence. Want more? Head to marianneamies.com to find out how you can work with me directly, to reach out to have me speak at your event, or to grab yourself some free resources.